A deceptively simple man, Gandhi overturned the largest and perhaps the most vicious empire the world had ever seen. India was considered by the British as their crown jewel, and they held it together for centuries with the force of arms. But the independence from the British was achieved by a method of non-violent cooperation, and it was led by Mahatma Gandhi. For his leadership, rooted in high spirituality, we call him Mahatma, the great soul.
In this show, we would like to present the story of Mahatma Gandhi in several parts. We will touch upon some key turning events in his life and some people who influenced him and in return whom he influenced. And then we will finally conclude the drama with his influence in this country on the civil rights movement. So let's look at some of the incidents from his childhood.
Mohandas, let's take a look at another incident from his childhood where Gandhi is arguing with his father, Karamchand, to watch a play.
Please let me watch this play.
What play do you want to watch now?
Story of the great King Harishandra, the epitome of truth and virtue in ancient Indian history.
You know, Mohan, you have watched this play so many times. You need to complete your schoolwork.
Father, the story is so inspiring that I feel like watching it over and over again. King Harishchandra never wavered from the path of truth. No matter the hardship he had to face and the sacrifices he had to make, that is truly encouraging.
You know, this is a mythological story, right?
But for me, he is very real.
But I'm still not letting you go.
Since you're not letting me watch the play, can we at least enact the same story and you play the character of the jealous sage Vishwamitra?
Okay, fine. King Harishchandra, I am here to get what all you have promised me.
Oh, welcome, sage. I'm ready with a bag full of gold.
Do you remember your promise?
Yes. I recall that I promised to fulfill all your wishes and I will happily give you gold to make sure you're well settled for generations to come.
Your promise was to fulfill whatever I ask.
That's right, sage. What more would you need?
I need your kingdom.
As you wish, respected sage, I will make all the arrangements.
I want you to leave the kingdom right now.
Okay, sage. I'll go and inform my wife to leave the kingdom right away.
Not only the kingdom. I want you to leave your wife and son here.
Sure, sage. I honor your wishes because I promised. I'm leaving now. What a man King Harishchandra was. He makes me weep every time I read about him. Why should not all be truthful and true to their world like King Harishchandra?
He once said, the outstanding impression that my mother has left on my memory is saintliness. None other was greater influence on me and my spiritual development than my mother.
At the age of
Gandhi decided to study law at University College, London. Let's observe an incident. Young Gandhi in conversation with his mother, Putlibai, and his wife, Kasturba, just before he leaves for England.
Wait, we will miss you. Please stay with us. Don't go away.
My dear Mohan, you have a good opportunity to go for further studies and be more capable. But
Mother, I seek your love and blessings, but I see you are bothered about something. What is it? Please tell me.
I'm concerned about your wife and kids. You have duties towards them.
I understand, and I will always take care of my family.
I know that, my son, but you're going to a land, faraway land with different culture, and new things attract us as human beings.
I'm not following you, Mother. I need to adopt English culture while I stay there. That way, I will be able to integrate into the society in a better way. What are you worried about?
Here, wear this necklace.
Necklace? What is this for?
This will keep you and your family away from all bad omens that sometimes happens because of our own negligence of acts.
Sure, I respect it.
Remember, this is just not thread and beads. You have to take 3 vows.
Vows? What vows?
Yes, promise me, while you're awake, you will not indulge in meat, women, alcohol, or tobacco.
I guess I can do that. I take earnest vows and express deep commitment and love towards my family. And I take vows that no meat, no women, and no alcohol and tobacco.
Of strength and power of gentleness towards others. These were the stepping stones in making the great soul Mahatma.
Would like to have some wine.
हम लोग भी बैठे
Hey, Gandhi! How are you, man? I'm doing good. Are you enjoying yourself?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, of course. Hey Gandhi, I just noticed some necklace you're wearing. Is it some new fashion statement?
No. This is a necklace given to me by my mother, and it holds the vows that I need to fulfill.
Vows. What vows?
3 vows.
Interesting.
Oh, my
And
friend.
what are those?
No meat, no women, and no alcohol or tobacco.
Gandhi, this is England, a modern world full of opportunities and exposure. You should try new things, my friend.
This is not superstitious, my friends. The seeds of my strength come from my mother's courage, love, and determination. This is not just a piece of thread. It holds the values that I want to fulfill willingly. This part of the world is beautiful, and I'm sure I will learn lessons of higher importance here. At the same time, I will always carry my learnings of determination, honesty, and righteousness that makes me, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, a proud Indian. Vande Mataram.
Good luck.
All the good luck, my friend.
Gandhi returned to India to start practicing law in Mumbai. However, too shy to speak in court, his several attempts to be a lawyer failed, and he had to take up other jobs in legal firms.
Gandhi moved to South Africa to help an Indian Muslim businessman, Abdullah Seth, with a lawsuit. He faced his first fight in the court in the very first week of his arrival, where he was asked to remove his turban. In the next scene, let's see Gandhi and Abdullah at the court hearing.
The way that judge was looking at me, it was deeply insulting.
Relax, Mohan. This is not India, this is South Africa.
And why did he ask me to leave the court?
Because of your turban. Indians are not allowed to wear turbans in the court. This is their way of classifying Indians as labor class.
But wearing nothing on the head is deeply insulting in our culture. Do you think they will allow me to wear an English hat instead? I'm ready to compromise.
Well, if you do anything of this kind, it will have a very bad effect. You will compromise those in our communities who are insisting on wearing Indian turbans. Besides, an Indian turban sits well on your head, my friend.
You make sense, Abdullah. I don't want to be the reason for diluting any efforts that our community is making here in South Africa. I will insist on wearing the turban in the court. Let me talk to the press.
Very well, my friend.
The wearing of turban inside the court. Some supported him, while others severely criticized his temerity. However, the turban actually stayed with Gandhi practically until the end of his stay in South Africa.
Next, Abdullah Said asked Gandhi to take care of a case in Pretoria. The train to Pretoria is one of the infamous incidents in Gandhi's life that changed his perspective on the life, but also on the British Empire. A first-class seat was booked for him. Let's see what transpires in the first-class cabin, where Gandhi first meets a helper, a man of color.
Do you think hell exists? No, nor do I. Why would hell exist if everyone were an honest person?
Sir, how long have you been in South Africa?
About a week.
Sir, I don't know. How you got a ticket for...
Hey, what are you doing in this cabin?
I have a ticket, a first-class ticket.
How did you get a hold of it?
I sent for it in the post. I am an attorney, and I didn't have time to...
There is no colored attorney in South Africa. How the hell you came here? You're not allowed to sit here. Go and sit where you're allowed to. You don't belong here.
I can help you with your bag, sir.
No, wait. How dare they use such language with me? I have traveled all across England, and I always travel first class.
You don't understand. There is no colored attorney in South Africa.
Sir, I was enrolled in the High Court of London and was enrolled in the Chancery. Therefore, I am an attorney. And since I am a colored person in your eyes, we can deduce that there is at least one colored attorney here in South Africa.
Here you colleague. Throw the man and his luggage into the van compartment.
Stay. I always travel first class. I choose not to leave this compartment.
If you don't volunteer to leave,
I will have to throw you out of the compartment.
You may force, but I am not going to leave this compartment voluntarily.
make sure to throw the luggage
when we throw him out.
After this train incident, Gandhi formed the National Indian Congress in 1894. This organization led non-violent protests against the oppressive treatment of the white people towards the native Africans and Indians. He also founded the Tolstoy farm near Johannesburg, which is considered as the birthplace of satyagraha or peaceful restraint.
After Spence moved back to India in January 1915.
In the very first few days, he met Gopal Krishna Gokhale and received personal guidance from him. Gokhale was a political leader and a social reformer. Here we present a dialogue between these two.
We are trying to build a nation here, Gandhi. And the British, they keep trying to break us up into religions, provinces and principalities. What you are writing in South Africa, that is what we need here.
I have much to learn about India, Gokhaleji. Thank you for your welcome. And I have to start my practice again. One needs money to publish a journal, no? Besides, What will I write about? India feels so unfamiliar to me.
Forget your practice. India has many men with too much wealth. It is their privilege to nourish the efforts of the few who are trying to raise India from servitude and apathy. I will see to it. You begin your journey. When I heard your speech the other day, I knew I could die in peace. Make India proud of herself. Come.
The history of Indian independence would be incomplete without the mention of a fierce freedom fighter, a poet, and most importantly, a woman, Mrs. Sarojini Naidu. Let's look at some turning points in Sarojini Naidu's life as influenced by Gandhiji and also some of her contributions to the Indian independence movement.
O young, through all thy immemorial years, rise, mother, rise, regenerate from thy gloom, and like a bride, high mated with spheres, beget new glories from thine ageless womb. Nations that in fettered darkness we crave thee to lead them where great mornings break. Mother, O mother, wherefore dost thou sleep? Arise, answer for thy children's sake. Children's sake.
Hello, Sarojini. How are you?
Hello, sir. Good to see you in great spirits.
I have heard your poems. They are masterpieces of art, flawless and impactful. My dear daughter, you have great oratory skills, and you should utilize them to their best and participate more actively in the Indian freedom movement.
Thank you, sir. I am committed to the cause, and I want to be of more service to our motherland. And I also want to work on the cultural issues of caste, creed, culture, and women upliftment in India.
Well, that moment has arrived. I want you to meet another great leader.
And who is that?
Gandhi. He is a young, vibrant man committed to the Indian freedom struggle.
That is very inspiring.
He is coming here from South Africa, where he led Indians in a struggle against racial discrimination.
I see. I am very impressed.
I want you to go meet with him. I cannot meet with him this weekend. I want the two of you to work together to empower the people to join in the fight against British imperialism.
Yes, sir. I would be really pleased to meet Mr. Gandhi.
And you must be Mrs. Naidu. Who else dare be so irreverent? Come in, come in. Please share my meal with me.
No, thank you. What an abominable mess it is. Mr. Gokhale asked me to meet with you and discuss your viewpoints on freedom movement and strategies.
You are a fierce woman and an activist. I better be careful of what I say.
Yes, that is true. But I have heard a lot about your great work in South Africa. I would like to learn more about it.
And I'm excited to work with you, Mrs. Naidu, to liberate our motherland.
Thank you, Mr. Gandhi. I am dutiful towards my country.
We all are, and we have to be. But we have to follow the path of non-violence.
And your triumph stories of South Africa have inspired me and thousands of Indians.
Here in India, we have to work to bring the masses together.
And yes, we have to unite people on caste, culture, creed, and work on the education of women and upliftment of everybody. And I think we should make this effort as part of our freedom movement.
And you, with your oratory skills, can bring everyone together. May your words come out of purity and balm the caste wounds.
In the Indian independence movement, that Dandi March. This was This was a non-violent resistance against the British salt monopoly in colonial India. This also triggered the wider civil disobedience movement.
The British not only exercised its monopoly over its manufacture and sale, but also levied a heavy salt tax. Here we enact the Salt March, where Gandhi and his fellow marchers reached to the Viceroy office pleading for their rights.
Vande Mataram!
Vande Mataram!
अंग्रेजों भारत छोड़ो!
अंग्रेजों भारत छोड़ो!
स्वतंत्रता हमारा जन्मसिद्ध अधिकार है। भारत माता की जय! भारत माता की जय! वंदे मातरम!
वंदे मातरम!
करो या मरो! करो या मरो!
करो या मरो!
Do or die!
Do or die!
वंदे मातरम!
वंदे मातरम! भारत माता की जय!
The salt tax of the British hurts the poorest Indians the most. After air and water, salt is perhaps the greatest necessity of life.
No need to respond to Gandhi, as this will encourage these people to make more bloody demands.
If my appeal does not get a response by the 11th of this month, my co-workers and I will proceed to disregard the provisions of the salt law.
Nonsense.
Bapu, we have not heard back anything from the Viceroy yet. What do we do?
Invoke the inner strength, Satyagrahis, and resolve to march along the path of non-violence.
वंदे मातरम!
वंदे मातरम!
We need to get for our protest rally soon, and I request all my fellow men and women to please avoid any confrontation and violence along the way.
भारत माता की जय! भारत माता की जय!
Is everything okay at the Sabarmati ashram, Meeraben? You look unsettled.
Oh, everything is okay at the ashram, Bapu. I'm here to seek your permission to join the Gandhi March. No matter how tough the terrain will be, no matter how rough the weather will be, I am determined to walk the steps of truth with you.
This is my daughter from England. Her real name is Madeline Slade, but we call her Meeraben. She is highly skilled, very devotional, and a person of utmost zeal and unbounded energy. Meeraben, your faith is superior. You are most welcome to join the squad. Please join Sarojini Naidu and help strengthen the women along the march.
The Salt March started on March 12, 1930, and it continued for 24 days. And then Gandhi reached to the coastal town of Dandi, and they continued to work together for their rights.
Crush them. Come on. We will.
If you have the inner strength, Satyagrahis, boycott government jobs, reject foreign goods, and abandon alcohol. With the innate strength and commitment to the eternal spirit of truth and self-righteousness, stay strong as the army of Salt March.
On April 5th, Gandhi and his followers reached to the coastal town of Dandi for their rights.
With this, I am shaking the foundation of the British Empire.
वंदे
British Empire, and Gandhi continued to work for the independence of India, which was achieved 17 years later in 1947.
Gandhiji was influenced by many leaders around the country, and he in turn inspired many global leaders. From Henry David Thoreau's classical essay, Civil Disobedience, Gandhiji found the strength to fight against racial discrimination.
Henry David Thoreau was a great man who practiced what he preached. He thought of slavery as a great sin, and to protest against it, he stopped paying taxes. He was jailed for this, but he did not care. He was a great inspiration to me. I also corresponded with the Russian author Tolstoy and read his books and was much impressed. Leo Tolstoy once wrote to me, "Love is the only way to remedy all human ills, and in it you have the method to save your people from enslavement."
Let us turn our attention to the civil rights movement of 1960s right here in South. Dr. King adopted Gandhi's game-changing tool, nonviolence as a policy, and set the stage for civil rights activists and lawyers to fight for racial equality in the justice system.
In 1959, Dr. King, his wife Coretta Scott King, and colleague Lawrence Reddick visited India to better understand Gandhiji's principles. Here are some of his thoughts.
To all other countries, I go as a tourist, but to India, I come as a pilgrim. We received the most enthusiastic reception and the most generous hospitality imaginable. Every door was open so that we were able to see some of India's most important social experiments and talk with the leaders, ranging from Prime Minister Nehru to village councilman and Vinoba Bhave, the sainted leader of the land reform movement. We were looked upon as brothers, with the color of our skin being something of an asset. But the greatest bond of fraternity was the common cause of minority and colonial people in America, Africa, and Asia struggling to throw off racialism and imperialism. Visiting this great land of Gandhiji, I was reminded of what he said. Nonviolence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind. It is mightier than the mightiest weapon of destruction devised by the ingenuity of man. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. Please stand and sing with us. We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
We shall